In yet another extremely embarrassing and pathetic concession to GOP senators who have no interest in negotiating in good faith, Joe Biden has pitched keeping taxes disgustingly low for corporations to essentially try to gain some support from Republican lawmakers for his infrastructure bill. This time, though, what he is offering Republicans is incredibly infuriating, which means it's time for the dumb and the feckless.
One of my prayers is that the Republicans will take back their party.
Things keep dripping out, drip, 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 and the truth comes out.
Yes, the truth comes out, and the truth has to do with the corporate tax rate, which Biden had proposed to increase from a low 21% to 28%, even though the corporate tax rate was actually 35% before Donald Trump decided to slash them as part of his 2017 tax cuts for the rich. Now, Biden has now recommended a new minimum corporate tax of 15%, seeking to take aim at dozens of profitable US corporations that pay little to nothing to the federal government annually. The White House also proposed stepping up enforcement on corporations and wealthy earners who rely on loopholes to lessen their tax burdens. So Republican lawmakers are saying, okay, raising taxes is a non-starter for us. We are not going to support your infrastructure bill if raising taxes is part of the equation. So Biden apparently in these negotiations has offered to drop increasing the corporate tax rate from 21% to 28%, and instead has offered to just ensure that the companies that pay nothing in taxes, like Amazon for instance, at least pay a minimum of 15% in corporate taxes. Now, Woz, am I being unfair here in thinking that this is an unnecessary and ridiculous offer to the Republican Party? And you might be muted, there we go.
Of course you're being fair, and you're completely right, because guess what, Anna? I'm old enough to remember when our friend President Barack Obama put Social Security on the table. And the Republicans told him to go take a long walk off a short pier. There are no circumstances, even Social Security, which they've been wanting to gut since Reagan. Even if you put that on the table, we will never be seen as helping a Democratic Party agenda. Meaning we will never put votes on something that actually helps your agenda outside of military spending, which everybody agrees is just great for some reason. So it didn't work last time when Barry tried it. Why are we doing this dog and pony show again? And then, by the way, if you remember with the coronavirus bill, they got 0 Republican votes. Then after it passed and people loved it, Republicans said, I know I didn't vote for it, but they only put it in there because we suggested it. It's like, they're not gonna vote for your stuff. Why are you putting stuff on the table for them?
Look, you're absolutely right. And Manchin was able to secure all of these concessions for Senate Republicans, who then, of course, turned around and refused to vote in favor of that COVID relief bill. Now, Biden at least is pretending that Republicans are negotiating on good faith, or in good faith, I should say. The offer marked an attempt by the White House to thread a delicate political needle. This is according to the Washington Post. It aimed to preserve the president's 2020 campaign pledge not to raise taxes on Americans making under $400,000 a year, while steering clear of the so-called red line set down by Republicans who see the 2017 tax cuts as their crowning economic achievement. Okay. That is galling. Oh my goodness. The Trump tax cuts do not pull well because they're tax cuts for the rich. So the fact that Biden is like, oh, we must protect what you believe was a giant political accomplishment. No. Like an actual president who genuinely wants to model himself after FDR would go out there and fight and be like, look at what they want to do. They want to protect the tax cuts for the rich, those super unpopular tax cuts that were polling well below 50%, even with Republicans in the equation before they actually passed in Congress. But he's not playing hardball. He's not playing hardball with Manchin and Sinema in the Democratic Party. He's certainly not playing hardball with Republicans when he's coming out with this nonsense in an effort to help them protect their perceived political win from 2017, a political win that's unpopular. Hit him where it hurts, but he's not doing that.
Well, there's nothing more sacred than the precious, pure concept of bipartisanship. And as you know, bipartisanship wears a chastity belt and will also wear a nice, pure white dress to its wedding, to the death of this country, by the way. I'm just saying, like, when these guys were passing their mega record-setting tax cut during the Trump administration, I don't remember stories coming out about the Democratic Party's red line. Well, the Dems won't do this, so we gotta keep it under consideration. That never, ever, ever happened. So I don't get this impulse to just be like, well, we're trying to do the bipartisan thing, so we have to take the feelings and the little hurt fifis of the Republicans into account. It's baffling, it's mind-blowing. And part of me just feels like, I guess we have to do this dog and pony show. I don't know who it's for, but I guess we have to do it. Maybe the donors want to see them try to do it, or because I don't know who wants this. There's no Americans, no rank and file American citizens who want to see this. I don't get this.
Well, I think that what we need to keep in mind is that we have two political parties that have been infected with a virus that was released into this country by the United States Supreme Court in their ruling on Citizens United. They have the same donors. When it came to the coronavirus relief package, Biden had all this tough talk about what he was gonna accomplish through it. He had one meeting with the US Chamber of Commerce in the Oval Office. And following that meeting, we started hearing about the means testing, cuts to the unemployment program, all sorts of nonsense. And the way that it was presented to the American people was, we're doing this to unite the country. We're doing this in an effort to, pass legislation in a bipartisan way. The bipartisan talking point is a hollow talking point, and it's again meant to provide a veneer to the disgusting corporate greed and the disgusting corporate influence that we're seeing in Congress and in the White House. In fact, I'll show you who Biden is actually representing. It's people like Jamie Dimon from JP Chase, who just a few days ago was complaining about proposed tax increases. Let's hear what he had to say.
Dimon was very outspoken, probably the most outspoken CEO to testify yesterday. But yes, one of his big criticisms he launched was against Biden's tax proposal. Now, this isn't necessarily new, though the tone of it was kind of new. Earlier in the month, he had talked about the tax proposal, basically saying, don't just throw money at the problem, calling for Biden to put out an itemized list of where those taxes would actually go. But this was a different tone because, list or not, he was saying that higher corporate taxes would be detrimental to America, would be detrimental to companies, push a lot of capital overseas.
So, this is the same nonsense that we've heard from wealthy people. And look, Jamie Dimon pretending to be concerned about increases in taxes, making his business untenable. It's just ridiculous because, as I've shared with you multiple times on the show before, and I'm gonna share it again, Chase just announced that they're gonna do more corporate stock buybacks. We're buying back stock because our cup runneth over. Jamie Dimon, JP Chase and Co.'s chief executive said on an earnings call in April of this year. The bank late last year unveiled a $30 billion share repurchase plan. Come on, don't insult our intelligence, Biden, just don't.
The game is so obvious, it's as to be a farce, honestly. Jamie Dimon, I think Chase made 27 billion in its last quarter in profit. That's not like, gross revenue or net or whatever. That's how much they made after they paid everybody, okay? This idea that a 7% increase in their corporate tax rate would somehow completely cripple the company who just, again, They didn't say, oh man, our workers, they work so hard. You know, those people at the bank branches and all these other people, the loan officers, et cetera, all the worker bees at JP Morgan Chase, not the people in IB, because those people get taken care of no matter what. No, we're not gonna take care of those people. No, we're just gonna do 30 billion in stock buybacks. That'll solve everything. And again, like, there's no proof that those big old tax cuts helped the American people or the American economy. It didn't do anything for us. So this notion that this guy would come out and say, well, if you do that, it's gonna crush us. Like, we got crushed cutting your tax rates, brother. Like, it's just the gall of all of this. And again, it's not like Joe Biden's gonna come out and make the case for his own tax proposals, right? I don't see Kamala, I don't see Joe. They don't have some pit bull that they would send out, you know, like back when the Obama administration would send out Rahm Emanuel to tell everybody, like, we don't need universal health care on every single Sunday show. Who's doing that on behalf of Joe Biden's tax plan? It's not happening. They don't even try to defend it.
Right, no, you're absolutely right. Colorado Blue Blazer in our member section, you can become a member by going to tyt.com/join, says, if it was a true 15% minimum for these corporations, I wouldn't be upset, but everybody knows that it's just a 15% minimum tax rate. So he makes a really great point, because Biden's not talking about closing corporate tax loopholes. So if the effective minimum tax rate is 15%, that doesn't take into account all the various deductions that these corporations can take, which effectively sometimes, even in the case of like Amazon, leads to a tax refund by the federal government after they file their taxes. So that's a really great point. And so far, we've heard nothing about closing tax loopholes.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.